Curry is the greatest shooter I have ever seen in my life.
Genuinely believe you might not ever see another Steph Curry. He's that accurate from that distance. I don't know you're going to see that combination again.
Steph Curry was the best player on the planet that year. I thought his impact and his value was slightly even more than your man LeBron.
But Steph Curry is the central figure in the way basketball is played today in the NBA, making him on the court the most influential figure in the NBA.
Magic Johnson, everyone here would agree, is also known as changing the point guard position.
We're talking about a guy that operates in the clutch. We're talking about a guy that leads and galvanizes troops.
Magic Johnson is widely known, and no one here would disagree, as in saving the NBA.
Magic Johnson, as a pure point guard, is the greatest who ever lived.
Stephen Curry is one of the greatest point guards to ever play this game, but many still believe Magic is the greatest point guard to ever play. But over the past 5 years, Stephen Curry has accumulated 5 trips to the NBA Finals, 3 NBA championships, and 2 MVPs, and one of them being unanimous. So that starts to bring up the question, who is truly the greatest point guard of all time, Stephen Curry or Magic Johnson? On First Take, Stephen A. was asked who would he have as his all-time starting 5, and instead of choosing Magic Johnson, he chose Stephen Curry. And many other people such as Allen Iverson also chose Stephen Curry as their all-time starting point guard over Magic Johnson. So y'all knowing me, I have to get to the bottom of this. I have to figure out once and for all who is the greatest point guard of all time, Stephen Curry or Magic Johnson. And to determine who was better between the two, I'm not going to go over who was better specifically, statistically, but more so who was better at doing certain things better than the other. So without further ado, let's find out who is truly the best point guard of all time. One of the things that Steph does better than Magic Johnson is score the basketball. For his career, Steph is averaging 23.5 points, shooting around 48% from the field, around 44% from the three-point line, and around 91% from the free throw line. And when it comes down to the playoffs, he kicks up his scoring to around 26.5 points, shooting around the same efficiency he does in the regular season. Combining his efficiency with his great shooting and his explosive scoring, this makes him the greatest scoring point guard of all time. One of the things that makes Steph such a great scorer is that he is the greatest shooter of all time. I mean, off the dribble, on the catch, on the move. He can hit you from shots from anywhere behind the three-point line. He is so lethal as a three-point shooter that when he crosses the half-court line, you have to pressure him because he can pull it from anywhere. Steph is not only just a great shooter, he's also a very good slasher. Because he's such a great shooter, the defense has to pressure him so tight, it allows him to blow by his defender and finish at the rim at a higher clip than most would think he would due to his small frame. Magic Johnson, on the other hand, was not a slouch in scoring either, as he averaged for his career 19.5 points throughout the regular season and the playoffs. Magic Johnson also had a nice scoring arsenal, as he can hit you from mid-range pull-ups, hit you in the post with the sky hook, and also take you in transition to finish on the break. While Magic Johnson was a pretty good scorer, he still does not compare to Steph as far as scoring, as throughout their career, as far as points per game, Steph has put up more points. Steph is the better shooter by far, and he's by far the better shot creator than Magic Johnson as well. One thing that Magic does better than Steph is that Magic Johnson is a better playmaker. Magic Johnson is the greatest playmaker of all time, as he's the all-time leader in assists per game in the regular season at 11, and he's also the all-time leader in assists per game in the playoffs at 12. Magic Johnson could pass at any and every angle. He could hit you from the bounce pass, the over-the-head pass, chest pass, no-look passes, pick-and-roll passes. He could hit you at a pass from anywhere and everywhere. Magic is probably the smartest basketball player to ever play this game. The way he could galvanize his team and put his team in the right spots on the court and orchestrate the offense is probably something we'll never see again. The charisma and swag he had on the court was unreal. Magic's ability to make his teammates better and his playmaking was so great that his former coach Pat Riley even called him the greatest player of all time over Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Steph has proven that he's a great playmaker as well. As for his career, he averages around 6.6 assists per game, and in the playoffs he averages around 6.3. While Steph may not get the gaudy assist numbers like Magic Johnson, he's shown that he can make difficult passes and can see spots on the floor that others normally don't see. While Steph has proven that he's a great playmaker, he's still not in the same class as Magic Johnson, as Magic Johnson has proven that he's a better playmaker, orchestrator of the offense, and makes his teammates better than Stephen Curry. Ability-wise, as we figured out throughout this video, Steph and Magic cancel each other out, with Steph being the better scorer and Magic being the better playmaker. But the thing that will separate the two is who is better in high leverage moments, who can impose their will better on the game when their team needs them to do it the most. Now let's look at Steph's moments. We can even go back last year in the semifinals in 2019 against the Houston Rockets in Game 6 when Kevin Durant got hurt the previous game and Steph was now clearly the man. In the first half of that game, Steph only scored. He didn't even score at all. He had 0 points. But come the second half, Steph exploded for 33 points and leading his team to a victory and advancing them past the second round. That was a big time statement game because many people believed that the Houston Rockets would end that series when Kevin Durant got hurt. But Steph put the team on his back, imposed his will that game, and led them to victory. Let's even look back in 2016. In those last 3 games when they were down 3-1, Steph scored a total of 98 points. That was the most points any person have scored when their team was down 3-1 in the last 3 games. Those are big time, clutch intangibles. Now let's look at Magic. Let's go all the way back to the 1980 finals in Game 6 when the previous game Kareem got hurt and he couldn't play this Game 6. Magic had to start at center, and he went on throughout that game to score 42 points, grab 15 rebounds, and dish out 7 assists to lead his team to an NBA championship and also gaining Finals MVP as a rookie. This performance that Magic put up in the 1980 Finals was one of the greatest performances of all time. We all know Magic and Larry Bird had one of the greatest rivalries in sports history. In 1984, Larry Bird and the Celtics took home the championship over Magic. And in '85, Magic returned the favor and took home the championship over Bird. And 1987 was a climactic year. This was the year to determine who was truly the better player between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And Magic Johnson did not disappoint. In the 1987 finals, he averaged 26 points, 8 rebounds, and around 13 assists a game. While Game 4 may not be his best statistical game, it was surely his best clutch game, as Magic Johnson put up 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, and hit the game-winning hook shot over Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish to win them that game. The Lakers would end up winning this series 4-2, with Magic capturing his 3rd Finals MVP. Even as great as Steph and Magic are, both of them have had their faults in the playoffs. In 2016, throughout the finals, Steph only averaged 23 points, shooting 40% from the field. That is very uncharacteristic for a player of Steph Curry's caliber. And in that crucial Game 7 in the 2016 finals, when Steph's team needed him to perform the most, Steph did not show up, as he only scored 17 points and shot 32% from the field. That is unacceptable of a player of Steph's caliber. Even though Magic averaged 18, 8, and 14 throughout the 1984 finals, he made many unclutch plays in Games 2, 4, and 7. In Game 2, Magic let the shot clock expire before they even got a shot off. And also later down in overtime, Wedman hit the game-winning shot in his face. And in Game 4, he turned the ball over to Parrish at the end of the fourth quarter, and in overtime, he missed 2 clutch free throws when the game was tied with 35 seconds left, and at the end of the game, Bird hit the game-winning shot in his face. In the crucial Game 7, Magic Johnson committed 2 turnovers to Dennis Johnson with under a minute and 30 seconds left that caused them to lose this game. These plays that Magic had down the stretch were very uncharacteristic and helped his team lose a chance at winning an NBA championship. So now, who is the greatest point guard of all time? Stephen Curry or Magic Johnson? As we figured out throughout this video, they both cancel each other out ability-wise. They're both all-time great talents, with Steph being a better scorer and shooter, and Magic Johnson being the better playmaker and making his teammates better. But the fine line, the thing that will separate the two, is who is more clutch and who has better and more big-time game performances. Who can you count on when all things have failed to lead your team to victory? And I believe that Magic Johnson has done that more than Stephen Curry. Why, yes, Magic Johnson has had more lows than I described in this video, but they haven't been as low as Steph Curry lows. They've still been good performances, but not as great as he probably should have played. But as we look at Steph, let's look back in the 2015 finals. Yes, he had a good performance, averaging 26 points, but there were moments in the game where his impact wasn't there. As we seen in this video in the 2016 finals, Steph did not play up to par as a unanimous MVP should. And while in 2019, he had a great finals performance, in Game 6, he had a pedestrian performance. His team counted on him to lead them to victory, and he did not show up, only scoring 21 points and shooting 7 for 21 from the field and missing the game-winning shot. So to conclude my video, yes, I still believe Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard of all time. And yes, I believe Steph is right behind him at number 2. I believe both are incredible talents and incredibly clutch players, but I just believe that Magic is a little bit better because he has better big-time performances than Steph, and he's also a more clutch player in my opinion, and I believe in many others as well. I hope y'all enjoyed my video. Like my video, subscribe to my channel, and I'm out.